Hello guys, welcome to Fluent Wait. So this is another video in my video series. So in the last video we have covered the response validation with the simple API response, but you have suggested that there has been a comment saying this is very simple response, but in the real-time scenario there are very complex responses, and I completely agree with that. So I found a Google API which is a very complex response. So today we are going to see how to get this response and validate this thing. So in order to do that, I have to make some changes in our current framework. So the first change I made in the base URL. So the base URL has been changed from localhost to googleapis.com, and the base path has been changed to REST assured services to books. And we don't need port here, that is why I commented this port. The second thing which I have added is the Google API test as a class to keep things clean. Then I have added the endpoint as v1 slash volumes in the endpoints. So coming back to the test, it's a normal thing which we have did till now, that get the request specification from the request rest assured configuration, as our API has a query parameter which is q is equal to Turin. That is why we need to add the query param to the request specification. So I have added this thing here. The one more important thing which I have changed or added to our framework is in the rest assured configuration. I have added this get response method, which has the parameter as a request specification, endpoint, and the status. So what it does, it get the response, and it checks status code against the expected status code. Let's say for in our example, we will say it should return 200 OK response. So if it has the expected response, then we will go ahead and validate our remaining things. Then it will log the response to the console just to ensure what we are doing is right. Uh, so these are the few additions and changes to from the previous tutorial. So first thing was the configuration, second thing was this get response method. uh, so that's it. So let's go ahead and run this just to see whether we have done it right, and we get a response from the Google API which is similar to this which we are currently looking at. Let's go ahead and run it. So currently I haven't logged the request part, but I have logged the response part of the response of the test. Sorry. So you can see we are getting the response. So the next step of this thing is to once we have the response, we need to map it against the Java objects. But if you can see, this is very complex response. So if we manually try to write these things, then it will take ages to complete. Manually try to write the beans to be specific. So instead of doing this manual thing, what we can do, we can use this tool or the website to convert this response into a POJO classes. So currently what I have done is I have copy pasted this response directly into this website. What you need to do is make some few settings. So currently We need to give the package name. So currently our package is com.fluentwait, com.fluentwait dot bin, and then you need to give the class name. So that's, let's say, Google. We are giving is a source type as a JSON because this is JSON response. Then we have annotation style, that is JSON, because we are making use of JSON API to convert this response into a Java objects. So that is it. And then what you need to do is create a zip file. So let's go ahead and say zip. So what it will do, it will generate the zip. So what you can see, currently it has generated google.sources. So let's go ahead and download this thing. uh, so if you can see, it has downloaded. So let me extract this thing. So once you extract, you will get this. So go ahead and just copy paste the Java files. There are multiple files. So this is a very nice tool which generate directly the POJO classes. So let me copy paste this thing, then we will go ahead and see what kind of bin it has created. So let's say yes. So the starting point of our response will be this Google. So currently you can see the Google, because we have given Google as a base class. So it will include everything inside this, and this will be our starting POJO class. Uh, okay. So you can see the kind is a string. Then they have total items as an integer. So that very much matches to the current response we are getting. So you can see the total. This is integer. This is string. Then this is an array of items. So when there is an array of items, it directly converts into the list. And because it's a object, that is why it has created a class. So in this class, you can see different objects which are available, which corresponds to our response. So you can see. Then again, if I go back and see what is in there, then this is a string, 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 and if you see the volume info, it's again an object. So it should be their object. So here it is, it's object. So you don't need to worry about multiple things. So you can directly get these things created, ready-made with this help, with this tool's help. So that's the first thing which we needed to cross, and we have done it very easily with help of JSON POJO class. So this will return you the response. Let me write the response. Then you need to map this response so as a class. So we will map it to Google dot class, and then our object mapper will be JSON, and this should return us the Google. So everything, if everything goes right, this should return us the expected response. So let's go ahead and run it in a debug mode so we can see what is the response. Yes, so it has returned the response. So let's go ahead and see the response. So it hasn't been evaluated against. So we got the response. We need to map this thing, whatever we have done till now. So, yes. So currently we can see we get the response. It has mapped to the object which we have created. So total items. So you can see the value against the value we have seen in the. Then we have the items list. In items list again we have some values. Then we have seen the volume info. Then again its value. So this is how you get all these things mapped to each other or in the Java object. So that was the second step of our tutorial. That first thing was getting the response, second thing is mapping the response to an object, and third thing will be evaluating these things against the expected. So we will see that how to do that validation. So next thing is the validation part. So currently we have done with respect to getting the response from the API, mapping it to the POJO classes. So now the next thing is how do we validate this complex response. So currently you can have the expected values from the external sources like database, from Excel sheet, from XML, from flat files, from anything which can act as external data source. But currently I haven't have anything which is the external data source. So I will add those values as hard coded values, but I will make sure that we will follow something which is iterating over the array of objects. So you will come to know that how to get the values when there are multiple hierarchies of objects. So currently you can see in our first base object we have items, that is an array of object. So inside that there is an id, so each item should have the id. So we will validate that it should not be blank. Then this item object we have a volume object, volume info object. So inside there is a author or the title name or the name of the book. So it should not be blank. So these two things we will validate with respect to the iteration. uh, so let me go ahead and do the iterate validation. So let's see the soft assert. So we'll use soft assert. So first thing is getting the list of items. So you can see the items. It's item. Let me import list. So items. So we'll get these items from our Google object. So get items. Then we will iterate this just to iterate each item. Oops. Then what we are looking for in item is id. So let's say soft assert assert true item dot get I sorry get get id equal ignore cases blank. So let me put it as a not. So we are, it should not be blank. If it is blank we will say id is blank. Then we can have a list of volume info, or no, not, it will not be a list, it will be an object, sorry for that. So volume info dot get item dot get volume info. So inside that class, that is why we're getting that value, and from that we can get the title. So anything which is apart from this, you can get the values from your external data source and you can validate against that expected value. But currently, because I don't have anything uh, as expected, so I'm just checking whether those values are there or not. But having said that, you can see how we are iterating over multiple things which are available inside this complex response. So title is blank. So what it will do, so currently what we have written, it will iterate over the all the object. So just to make sure that we are iterating and we are logging this thing, so I will just go ahead and log it to our console just to see what we are currently logging. Item dot to string. So let me go ahead and items and add toString method, so we actually see something. So I want just basic information which is strings, not the all the objects, because we have to again go ahead and add toString to those objects. So I want just this thing just to show we are validating all 10 objects. And finally we will have subclassor. So to summarize, so we have got all the items in the list and we have iterated each item to check whether the item has the ID, and inside the item we have again one object which is volume info, and from the volume info we are getting the title which should not be blank. So let's go ahead and run it and let's see if it is failed for anything. Okay, so it has passed. So let us go and see if it has validated for all the items or not. So you can see the first item was this one. E tag has something, and so you can see there are 10 total items which has been validated. So we can say we have validated the response uh, where these things were inside each other. So we can go ahead with this approach and validate anything which is available against the expected values. Uh, so to summarize all the things which we have done in current video is we have done the response validation for a complex API which was the Google API. First thing we did was got the response, then we created the POJO classes with help of JSON schema to POJO.org.com, which automatically given the all the POJO classes. Then we added those classes in our bin folder. Then we wrote this command or this line to map our response to object. Then we got all the response in the object. Then we iterated over the array of objects and we validated some values from it. So this is it for this tutorial. So if you have any question, please write to me at fluent.wait@gmail.com. You can visit my website at www.fluentwait.com, or you can simply comment down below with this video. So thank you guys. Thanks for watching.